Welcome to the final module of our comprehensive SmythOS Masterclass series. I'm Sebastian Schieke, and we are on an exciting journey through the intricacies of AI development. Throughout this module, we will be covering essential topics that Mike Sale explored in this training, including async and await functionality, agent security and authentication, the future of SmythOS and industry trends, file processing in SmythOS, content generation from various sources, and social media integration for AI agents. Now, we are diving into our first topic, async and await functionality. This is a crucial concept for efficient AI agent development. Let's hear from our SmythOS expert, Mike Sale, as he explains this important concept.
Now we are going to go ahead and take a deeper look at async and await, not just looking at how do we avoid the timeout, but actually how do we use async and await for different use cases. And specifically, we're going to look at them to synchronize what could be one long-running process with another short-running process, keep them synchronized, and make sure that they execute quickly and effectively and still come back to allow our agent to continue on with the proper synchronicity afterwards. All right. We are also going to look at how do you secure an agent. Basically, how do you add authentication to your agent? And we're going to look specifically at the API bearer key. The OAuth key requires that you have an OAuth service that is set up for you, and I will go ahead and share an example service that has been tested with this, but not extensively.
As Mike points out, async and await are powerful tools for managing complex processes in our AI agents.
This is hence why this is a beta, but the bearer key works swimmingly well, and we will test that and show you exactly how that works. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next agent here. All right. So there are cases where you have to actually work with two sets of data that you got from the original endpoint, or you may have pulled in from another place as part of your agent. And you want to make sure that both of these complete, and that once they are done, you want to go ahead and continue. So the way that you do that is you can use the async component. It's very effective at managing and allowing those processes to run separately and then come back with their results and pass them on to the await component. Let's go ahead and run through that. So if we go in, go to debug. So what this is doing is it's very simplistic.
This is a key point. The ability to manage multiple data streams efficiently can significantly enhance the performance of your AI agents.
So the way that you do that is you can use the async component. It's very effective at managing and allowing those processes to run separately and then come back with their results and pass them on to the await component. Let's go ahead and run through that. So if we go in, go to debug. So what this is doing is it's very simplistic. It's taking a list of employees and then running a process to add to their employee record. For each, one is adding their hobbies, the other is adding their job description. And then once those are done, based on how we have set up our component here, which basically says we need a minimum of 3 jobs to complete, or we need a wait time of 300 seconds. The implicit rule that is here is actually, or if all of the jobs that are associated with this component that basically feed into this component are complete, we will also continue. And that is actually the case of what's happened here. We have 2 jobs that have completed, and that allows us to see these results. So let me go ahead and move my screen so you can better see them. So what do the results look like? So first of all, actually, let's take a look first at what the job, what comes back from jobs. It's if you have one and only one job, what you'll see, you'll get back is just this string. That's it. That's the job ID, and that will come back. If you have more than one job, you'll get back an array. And if you recall, the array in JSON is delimited by these square brackets, right? And then you have the items in the array, which are the job numbers, or sorry, not technically numbers, but IDs. Then what happens is this component, the await component, gets the results from those jobs and returns those as results in a structured format for each job, right? So for each job, we actually have the job ID, the output, the response, and the status. The response is what did that actual job return? And in this case, it returned an array that has ID with prompt generator, results, of job description, and so on and so on and so on. And then what you have is the status of done, right? Any job that completes will show up as done. You'll see one more down here of done. Now, one of the things that can happen that you typically will want to check for is what happens if one of those jobs does not complete in time. So we're going to create a condition where that actually occurs by reducing the minimum wait time from 300 seconds down to 8 seconds. And we're actually going to go ahead and run this process again. And notice again, the moment it goes into async, you'll see this fun async running, which basically says, this is in a whole different world from you. You can't look at like you normally can. You can't inspect the values here, not until you actually get to the job output here.
As you can see, Mike is demonstrating a practical application of async and await. Now, let's skip ahead to see how Mike handles potential issues with async processes.
So now we have two jobs. We'll see, if you recall, what happened here. You go ahead and zoom out and zoom back in. So one of those jobs did not complete before the timeout, but it went ahead and finished the await, stopped waiting, said, I've had enough of this. I know this job is still pending, which essentially means that it's still working in the background. But this one did come back. And so it is done. We are ready to go and good to go. So then the question becomes, and boy, I've got myself into a little bit of a pickle here by making this too big. So then the question is so what should you do with job results in these cases? You definitely, one of the things, can anybody guess? And I'm giving you a nice big hint. You can actually take a look at a classifier. You can take and drop the results into a for each loop and then loop through each of the results of the job and work with them. And you can put an async in front of that and another await in front of that. So it can get pretty tricky. But one of the things I think so the gist of it is once you have your job results, especially when you have certain possible conditions, you want to make sure that you actually test the actual results and pull them out there. It's just standard JSON, just like we've worked in other cases in our other agent, our issue expert, where we actually looked at the content and then pulled out different parts and pieces to understand what to do. It may be that if you have a job that was pending, that you fail this or raise an error. All kinds of fun things that you can do here. By the way, if one of these jobs were to error out but complete, it would still come back as done. The difference is in the response, you would see the error. So again, you can want to more than likely take a look at the contents of the response as well as the job status when you look at an awaiting. All right?
This is crucial. When building AI agents, we need to anticipate and handle potential failures or delays. As we've seen, mastering Async Innovate can truly elevate your AI agent development. In our next video, we explore agent security and authentication. These are essential topics for deploying AI agents in real-world scenarios. Thanks for joining us in this SmythOS Masterclass. Until the next video, keep innovating.